a gentleman that is a tremendous leader, also one of the mentors in this company, one of the top mentors in this company. I'd like to introduce Mr. Pete Abraham. Can you hear me, Pete?
Yes, sir, JC. Thank you. Appreciate that introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Pete Abraham, and I'm going to be one of your hosts for tonight. I have my summer haircut, as you can see from my picture, versus what I look like right now. This hot heat from Southern California. So I'm here in the Inland Empire, Southern California. So shout out to our Southern California folks as well as our East Coast people. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here tonight. Many years ago, I got into an industry that I didn't know anything about, and I'm going to tell you a bit about that tonight of what I've been able to make of this. If somebody can watch the people coming in there, it's popping up on the screen here. So again, I'm going to get right into it. Just before I start, listen, I'm a single dad. I have 2 daughters. I prided myself on being the dad that took care of his daughters and always looked for something that I could do that would allow me to spend time with them, right? So I sacrificed opportunities, titles, positions, certain things like that. This is just me. But I did that so I could be around my daughters and try to be a good father figure and be in their lives. And I actually raised both of my daughters, the first one since the age of 2 and up. So enough about that. You're here tonight to find out how this might affect you. What do we have? So I'm going to share my screen in just a second here. And let me know if, in just a second here if you guys can see that. I'll come right over to it. And let me come up on this if I can. Okay, let me know if that works and if it goes full screen. Can somebody hear?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I heard crickets for a second there. Okay, great. So let me get right into this. Obviously, BYLD Network is the name of our company. It's the name of our network. And as we look at this tonight, you're going to see it represents a lot of things. So first of all, we're going to look at your mindset, building a business, and building your net worth. So those are 3 things that are very important. Obviously, in anything in life, if you don't have the right mindset, you're probably not off to a very good start. Second thing is you might be looking for something different to do, something to add on, part-time, full-time, whatever it might be. But most people are looking for something else now. And then obviously we'd rather have our worth be more than less. So I think I can move on without dwelling on too much, but I want you guys to understand exactly who we are. We are literally a direct sales company and a community of like-minded people. There's something special about working with people on the same boat as you, on the same direction as you, have the same beliefs and have the same core, in Spanish we say the sales, but things they want out of life, right? Things that they want and who that. And that comes into all these other things that we'll talk about tonight as well. But who we are matters a lot. So why build a business in the first place? Why should we be looking for something else? A lot of times we have, a regular job, and that job, we think it's going to last forever. And what's happened lately? What's happened the last 10 years, the last 5 years, the last even couple years for a lot of people? But why build a business? Because nobody really is coming to save you. And you know that already. Deep inside, we all know that. If we don't do something, if we don't get off the couch, nothing's going to change. If we let somebody else tell us we're worth 25 cents an hour more, you'll probably get half of that, if that. So, wanting more is not good enough. You have to actually do something. The other thing is entrepreneurship used to be a should. Now it's become a must. So think about that for a second. I should probably do something like that. I like to get ahead. I could use some extra income. I'll get to it later. Well, how's that working for you? And so we look at that now. Things have turned, the tables have turned, and part of it's because of our current financial situation. Huge debt crisis. We've all lived that before. Layoffs, inflation. Anybody remember COVID? Higher taxes, higher interest rates. I bet if I asked that right now, people would be putting their hand up at my credit cards. Oh my gosh, the interest rates, whatever it might be. Bankruptcies, talk of recession, right? And job displacement. And so these are some of the things that make you think, well, when should I actually do something for myself? Should I do it now or later? And my answer to myself is let's do it now, right? This is a very interesting slide right here. You have mass layoffs, outsourcing, and AI. That's interesting. Outsourcing, we all have heard about that. A lot of people are barely becoming aware of AI. If you look at on the left there, Microsoft, 10,000 jobs last year gone. Intel, 300. T-Mobile, Google, Cisco, 5% of its total workforce. And GM, 2,300 jobs. Well, that's a huge thing. You know, you go from having a cushy job and suddenly you're laid off. That changes your whole outlook on life. And it's simply because you're working for somebody where you don't have control. You know, I always told myself, you know, it's a job, but I own it. You know, I had a lawn route, I had a car wash location, a detailing business. And, you know, the thing about that, those weren't luxurious things at all. But the bottom line was, I used to say it's a job, but I own it, right? Which means I can go to work every day and hire myself every single day. I get out of bed and hire myself by getting up early. Every single day I can fire myself by being lazy. But I chose to get up and keep hiring myself. Just a different way of looking at things. We also live in the age of the gig economy. How many people have heard of Uber, Etsy, Airbnb, Shopify, Lyft, all these things that are out there right now? As a matter of fact, if you look around, people are online looking for something else to do. What could I do that I could afford to get into that would make sense, that isn't something everybody already has? And then they start looking at, oh my gosh, well, here's the things that are the easiest where I don't have to change my schedule as much. And so this is what they come down to, is things like this. But we know one thing is that people want and need to make more money. If you want or need to make more money, put a one in the chat where somebody can see it. Just a quick one in the chat if you want or need to make more money. Because this is important. If you don't have a need, then why be here? But the reality is we're here to show you something different tonight. So what would you look for in a business opportunity? Many people know how to look for jobs, but they don't know how to analyze a business opportunity. They don't really know what it takes to do because they've been working for somebody else and somebody else's dreams for so long, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Of course, you're not necessarily going to know what to look for. But it makes sense to look for industries with a big target market and a low market penetration, which means not everybody has their service, right? Now, there's not like 50,000 other companies doing the same thing. Also, how about essential goods and services? Would it make sense? What happens when the economy goes down? What happens to the extra luxury things? Sometimes even getting your hair, your nails done, that round of golf, or the things that you used to do, and suddenly money's tight. What are the first things to go? Those things. But guess what doesn't go? Essential goods and services, gas, electricity, and water. I wish we could help with all three of those. But the second one there, electricity, is close to my heart, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And you're also looking for industries that will thrive in good and bad economies. It's nice to have something that, you know, everything's good and the sky's the limit. But what happens when things get bad? Last time I checked, people still use electricity in a bad economy. Okay? So some of our services that we have here, I'm not going to get into every single one myself here tonight, but basically a broad swipe here. Home security. We have home security. We have BYLD Rewards, which is travel, shop, and save. Smart Money Club. That makes a lot of sense because a lot of people really don't know what to do or how to do it or how to save money, right? And obviously what's near and dear to my heart for the last 15 years is solar. Okay, so through Encore Solar and Freedom Forever. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. So let's talk solar. Let's have a little bit of fun. You know, I come from the solar industry. This is literally right on the cut, my 15th year now. And it's amazing. And the way I got into it, I looked at a tiny little Craigslist ad. I always look back in the day, probably dating myself, but Craigslist. And I already had a job. I wasn't looking necessarily, but I liked to see because I was trying to build teams. And I was always looking at who's hiring and this kind of stuff and see what I could find out. And so I decided to answer a little ad, a little classified ad there, if you will, in Craigslist. And sure enough, I didn't think they were going to call me, but they did. I have a real estate and a mortgage background. Very important here, guys. We're talking about things that have to do with homeowners tonight. Interesting. So keep that, write that down. What can I do to help a homeowner and make money? So that's where this came into play. And long story short, I actually answered the ad. They replied to me. I ended up working a job. And then my first time thinking, how did I even end up here? But remember what happened to real estate, which is cyclical. Remember what happened to mortgage, same thing. When the interest rates go up, if anybody remembers 2006, 7, and 8, right, and 9, right, what happened to those industries? And so that's how I ended up here, taking my knowledge from those industries and coming over here and being open-minded enough to learn and to listen and to let somebody else coach me. So why get involved with the solar industry? Sizing and timing of the opportunity: 130 million homes in the US and 90 million are eligible for solar. Now, if you're a door knocker or if you're a person that's used to going out and talking to people, how long would it take for you to knock on 90 million doors, or even you and your team? So you're going to be dead before the opportunity is over. That's the bad news. The great news is only a few people, 3.5 million on average, have gone solar so far, and that leaves you 87 million homes that are currently still without solar. So a huge market, huge market. In other countries, the penetration is much higher, but here we are adopting it over here in the U.S. So why solar for consumers? What's in it for them? Obviously, if you're going to share, I call it sharing, but if you're going to sell, share, whatever you want to call it, some with people, you want something that's going to be good for them, right? Something where you can ethically and morally offer something that's going to benefit them and take care of you and your family. At the end of the day, that is the object of what we're trying to do, correct? So save up to 50% on energy cost, zero down. You know, people say, I don't have money. I don't have money. We know that. So does every other industry. Zero down with various financing options, right? So blackout protection, batteries, you think of Florida, you think of Northern California, fires, hurricanes, all the other things that are happening all over, right? And to know Texas, for example, Houston area, what a great thing to know that you could have some kind of battery protection when everybody else's lights are out because they don't have it. You might have the possibility of having that in your area and the lights stay on. Tax credits, if you qualify, receive a tax credit up to 30%. Well, I'll take 30% over 0% any day. And an immediate increase in some cases to the value of your home. Obviously, it's a benefit to you and to the new person that buys your house if you should sell the house in 1 year, 5 years, or 30 years. This little number, fun fact on the bottom, 2022, someone went solar every 44 seconds. I think in 2023, someone went solar every 38 seconds. So the number keeps going faster and faster. Seconds. My question to you is, if you saw an opportunity, how many people would you like going solar with you every 44 seconds or every 38 seconds or every month, right? So we've chosen, obviously, we don't want to do this with everybody. So we've chosen Freedom Forever as our installation partner. Highly sought after company, been in the business many, many, many years, have a great reputation. Everybody that installs there works for the company. So they're not hiring outside contractors to come and install your job. It's somebody that you can know from the local area, that's from their office, that's going to come out in their trucks or vans and do that work. And one of the reasons that we'd want to work with them is simply this: 25-year production guarantee. Best in the industry. Literally the only solar panel company that offers 100% guarantees the amount of energy that your solar system produces. So guaranteed power, return of lost savings. What does that mean? Let's say your system went out and it wasn't working for some reason and it's due to the system, the solar. Obviously then, if you had to pay the utility, they would literally find out what it is and you would get a check or credits for that. Most people don't do that in guaranteed production. Obviously, it's a production guarantee because everybody wants their panels to work and produce like they should be. So that is a huge plus in an industry that has been shaken by some people that don't do things like that. States we cover. I heard as people were coming on from the West Coast to the East Coast to the islands, right? We have people all over. South Africa, we have people in Jamaica, we have people literally Ireland, and working from home, don't even live here, okay? And they're doing this business from where they are. That's called location freedom. Location freedom, I love it. As a single dad, I'm looking for time freedom as well when my daughter's growing up, so I wouldn't have to be gone with them as Mr. Mom and Mr. Dad, right? So if you can relate to that, feel free to put one in the chat too, because I know there's people out there that you wish you could spend more time with your family and you haven't been able to do so because you can try to do the honorable thing and you're going to work, but you're working 3 jobs and you're working yourself into the ground. So I'm glad I can talk to you tonight, and hopefully what I'm saying to you will hit your heart in some places that you need it to. Where we actively installing is the dark green. The lighter green is the coming soon, and the room to grow is in the gray. Why the dark green first? Simply because the value proposition is the best in those states. Obviously, California, Texas, Florida, when solar was first starting way back when, it's because the rates are so high in those areas. But now we find that the rates are increasing all over, and even the states that had lower rates are getting more and more and more expensive. Look at the East Coast. For all my friends on the East Coast, you're at the right place at the right time right now. So let's keep moving. So what do you see here? It's very interesting on this. You know, I know every time when I got into solar, at first I didn't know, I didn't have a clue what I was doing because I never known anything about solar. But as I got more and more experience in the industry, I would get out and I would realize every time from now on that you go outside and you look at a roof, you are going to be thinking, can I save that person money? And why not make some money for myself and my family? You deserve it. So when you go out tomorrow, wherever you are and drive around, I want you to look at how many houses might have solar in your area and the majority of how many don't. That's called opportunity. And guess what? They're going to use electricity with or without you. And they are going to go solar with somebody with or without you. It's just a matter if you're going to say something first or you're going to be chicken and wait till the van. Everybody who's been in this business knows we all have a neighbor, friend, or family member who we didn't call. They were on our chicken list and we didn't pick up the phone and call. And here comes the van. And you hear that click, click, click of that ladder and you go outside to see what all that ruckus is. And guess what it is? It's your neighbor who knows you get solar installed by somebody that you don't know. Interesting. So a couple of testimonies just to finish up my part here is look at this. Customer in California going from 287 to 148. It doesn't take rocket science to figure this out, folks. If we can save money, help people with batteries, put people in a better position, couldn't they use that money for something else? Look at Florida here. 410 before solar, 290 after solar. Folks, this is money that they were going to spend anyways, and they're spending it on the utility, and now they can take that money and spend it on something else. Let me ask you a question. Would it be worth it for you, your family, your friend's family, your grandparents, if they could spend that money on something for them instead of giving it to the overpriced utility? And so I love what it says in the bottom here. A very wise person said this: a solar sales presentation is not a presentation, it's an IQ test. And you know, when I first heard that, I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, that's kind of wow, you know? And then I thought about it, go, heck yeah, that's exactly right. Because guess what? If you could pay the top number here that you see, either one of these examples or the lower one, which would you pick? I'll give you a minute. Obviously, you'd pick the one that saves you money. And I can tell you something else. They're more than likely getting more electricity than what they were using before for this lower price. Because a lot of people need more, but they turn their air conditioner off and hide in the basement to stay cool just so they won't have to pay all those high bills. That's no way to live. Energy cost over time. Let's look at this real quick here. Today's payment, let's say it's $150. If you look towards the right, 10 years, all the way to 30 years on the right-hand side, in the middle, you'll see a 6 to 8% annual increase. I'm here to tell you right now, in some states, even like states as well, it's much higher than 6 to 8% annual increase. But let's take that for a second. What if you could lock in your electricity cost for no money down and receive a 30% tax credit if you qualify? Why wouldn't you do that? If somebody just explained how it worked, and that's what we're here for people and we help people do tonight. So I would rather do that and save that money. If I'm going to save $171,000, folks, for some people in some areas of the country, I know it's not huge, but that's the house. That's a couple car pay. That's 2 or 3 cars paid off right there, right? So why wouldn't you, unless you like giving the money? So why wouldn't your clients the same thing? They're either going to pay it to the overpriced utility or they're going to save it and spend it on something that's more near and dear to them. And then my last one right here is simply this. Energy deregulation will be the largest transfer of wealth in history. Notice it doesn't say my name underneath there. It says Warren Buffett. Most of you already know who he is, one of the richest men on the planet. It doesn't say real estate. It doesn't say Pete's detailing service. It doesn't say mortgage. It doesn't say life insurance. It says energy deregulation, transferring something you have no control over to something you do control, okay? And we've made a business out of that. So my part here tonight, folks, is over. And I'd like to just introduce our next speaker who's going to handle the next part of this. And this gentleman, I can tell you, in the short time I've known him, I know of him, but I didn't know him till a while back. And this gentleman has been very successful in several different industries. And he's helped a lot of people, has a heart of gold. He's somebody who actually gives before he takes. He helps people. He builds teams. I'll let him tell the rest of his story. But can you, if you're there, can you hear me, Mr. Kevin Marino? Can you hear me?
I hear you, Pete. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It's kind of funny. You and I have the exact opposite summer hairdo. You got the scruff on the face. I'm clean shaven there, and I got the scruff on the head, and you're clean shaven there. So we're basically we're what do you call the negative image?
Awesome, brother.
Go a little yin and yang tonight. All right. Well, with that being said, I mean, Pete did a phenomenal job going through that information, and I always like hearing different people go through the different parts of the presentation, because we all do it a little differently, and we all kind of bring something just a little bit differently to the forefront. So with that being said, I'm going to now get into kind of one of the things that a lot of people come here for, and they want to know, well, how do I get paid? Because I mean, we all know and love Mr. Warren Buffett, and he's talking about the greatest transference, but you know, the question becomes, well, how are you transferring that wealth to us? And BYLD does it in a number of different ways. In the compensation plan, there's 7 different ways to earn. We're going to go over some of them tonight. We're not going to go for all of them. We're going to go for some of them. And we're going to start with personal sales, because what we look for in a deal, and what we're going to use for all these examples tonight, is an average deal looking at approximately $10,000 profit per install. Of that, the person who if you bring the deal and close the deal, you're looking at 70%, which is $7,000. All right, that's pretty simple. It's straightforward. But what we're going to also talk about is, how do you get to be that person that does all the closing, and how can you become someone that helps? And initially, when you come into the business, who helps you and how do they get paid and all that? So what's nice is BYLD has it set up so the people who are coming in and getting started in the business have the ability to work with a mentor. Okay, and a mentor is going to help you with your first 3 sales, and then you'll be able to close 5 of them on your own. At least you can close 5, 10, however many you want to do on your own. And then if you'd like to become a mentor yourself, you can complete the certification and then work with people to help the new people coming in close their deals. So it's a deal split with the mentor and the person who brought the deal. So on an example, all right, we talked about that $10,000 being the average for the examples that we're going to use. So 70%, $7,000. A split of that, obviously, $3,500 each. I know it's obvious, but I like to point it out just to make sure everybody's following right along. So if, as a mentor, you help 4 of your consultants close their first 3 training sales, you're looking at 12 sales at approximately $3,500 on average, which is about $42,000 worth of commissions. Now, that could be done over a month, over 2 months, but we can look at it and realize that's a significant amount of income simply for helping some of the people on your team to close their first 3 deals. All right, now, beyond that, there are overrides. This is where things really start to get interesting, because a lot of times people look at it at first and they go, oh, well, 70%, you know, that's what some of the other companies out there are doing. They're in that ballpark. The reality is most of them are between 40 and 60%. There's a couple that get up to 70. All right. 70 is where we start. And there are then team building overrides above and beyond that. So what the overrides are going to pay attention to is, again, 10,000 minus that 70%, 7,000. That leaves $3,000, 30% or $3,000. Now, with that, this is where you're going to look at. So as a consultant, if I were to have brought Pete into the company and Pete goes out and makes a sale, all right, at that point in time, Pete is going to get his part of the percentage. If somebody could make sure, let the people in there that are popping in. Pete's going to get his commission, and we talked about that 70%. But as a person who signed him up, I'm going to pick up 20% of that $3,000, or approximately on average about $600. Now, as my team grows and I get to the point where I have 10 team installs, all right, we'll go with you on how to balance them out a little bit. But 10 team installs, I now climb to 30% override. Think about that percent. That's pretty cool. All right, 30% override on all the people that I've personally brought in. So if Pete goes out and makes another sale, instead of an average of 600, I'm now making an average of 900 per sale he makes. You got to understand, this is where BYLD and the Encore Solar division really differentiate themselves from many of the people that are out there. Okay, and then we'll also start to pick up as a manager 10% team overrides. So it's not just picking up 30% on Pete's team in this example, but also a 10% override on the rest of his team that he's building. As you get to director and executive director, national director, you'll see it goes to 35, 40, 45%. And the team overrides move up as well. All right, you also notice that you'll see some company pool, company-wide pools that as you get to that particular level, you will start to partake in that. And I kind of equate that to, it's similar to a profit sharing, because it's taking in commissions from everybody that's part of the company. It's going into a pool, which is getting divided up with the folks that are at the executive and the national director on a monthly basis. So some pretty incredible dollars being paid out by BYLD. So this is the manager override. Just want to make sure everybody understands it. So as you hit manager, you go from the 20% to the 30% on an override of the people that are front line to you. So if one of these guys is Pete, and he goes and makes a sale, I'm picking up that 30% override of the remaining 3,000. So it's approximately about a $900 override. Now, if somebody on Pete's team, let's say this person right here, let's say this is Susie. If Susie goes out and makes a sale here, Pete's going to pick up 20% because she's directly to him. So about $600. All right. The another 10% is going to go to me in this particular scenario at 10%, which is about $300. So you start to realize that there's some significant dollars that are being paid out on a regular basis as sales are being made. So let's look at something here. Let's break it down to 10 consultants doing one sale each. All right, with a team of 10 consultants helping a house, each of them helping one household go solar, are you talking 10 deals in a month? All right, if assuming 4 of them come to your first level, 6 of them come anywhere else in your team, you're looking at approximately $6,300 in overrides. All right, that's pretty interesting. All right, 10 sales have happened on your team and you didn't make one of them in that scenario. Now, if you go out and do a sale yourself, you pick up the entire commission, you're looking at about $7,000 for that, or a total of $13,000 for the month, which obviously we're looking at. That's a nice month. So we like months like that. Now, when a team of 10, let's say they go do a 2. All right, 8 coming from the first, 12 coming from your team, you're looking at 13,800. If you were to make a sale yourself in that particular period of time, you're looking at a total of just over $20,000. Folks, if you do that over the course of a year, that's approximately $250,000. So you start to realize with even a small team, a significant income is a possibility here with BYLD, which is something you don't run into in many of the other companies. So, think about this. What would it take for you to start your own solar business? I mean, think about what has to all go in place for you to do that. And you start to realize putting all these different parts in place really takes time, money, and effort. Well, guess what? Being part of BYLD, all of this is in place for you already. So getting started, launching your business, working with the folks over at corporate, they have this stuff in place. They have the relationships. They have everything put in place. What do they also have? They also have a nice security setup between ADT and Brinks all over the country, looking at services ranging from $50 to $65 in most cases, with a nice commission to go with them. That's paid basically a week out. Now, let me ask you a question. So how do you get started? A lot of times people come here and they're, well, how do I get started? What do I do? Well, we have a few different ways for people to get started. The free affiliate. Now, I deal with people who are free affiliates on my team. Those are people who are typically some of the people that Pete alluded to earlier. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, roofers, people who deal with consumers, homeowners on a daily basis. People that homeowners will ask questions to. Hey, what do you think about solar? Hey, is my roof good enough to have solar on it? Hey, does solar increase the value of my home, or is it a problem? These people are going to get these questions, so you want to sign them up as affiliates. All right, anybody can start as an affiliate and upgrade, but I'll tell you what, this is where some of the folks really want to get started. And the folks that are attached to the home in some sort of business, their business brings them and attaches them to that home, and to the homeowners who may have dealt with them multiple times, probably know, love, and trust them, and you get to be a referred vendor, if you will, of someone who can bring them solar, give them a tremendous value. Now, guess what? That person is going to pick up $500 to $1,000 because you're going to put them in the system as an affiliate. And when the lead goes through them, the system's going to pay them automatically. Now, how cool is that? I mean, this is something that, when you're talking to folks, you can say, hey, listen, we have an amazing finder's fee. All right. All referrals that you send to us who go solar, you're looking at $500 to $1,000. So, I mean, that's a great way to get people involved in the business to be able to start sending new leads. Now, consultant is someone who's looking to build a business. You're serious about the business. You really want to grow. And sometimes people say, well, I could just start as an affiliate, and maybe I'll go to be a consultant in the future. Now, you can do that. But what I'm going to say is you're leaving money on the table. All right. The question is, do you want to leave money on the table? And people sometimes say, well, what's the difference? Well, let's go back to that $7,000. All right. $10,000 total. $7,000 is the commission on who brings and who sells the deal. Total of $7,000. Now, if an affiliate if I'm closing my own deals and Joey brings me a deal, he's someone that's a realtor. He brings me a deal. We put it in the system through his it pops into mine. We close the deal. He's going to get $1,000 referral fee. I'm going to pick up 6,000 of the 7. He gets 1,000. I get 6 of the 7. Works pretty simple. Now, if let's say there's someone in between us, let's say I recruit Pete. We'll go back to Pete again. Pete asked me to be the mentor. All right, so I'm going to close the deals for Pete. We're typically going to split them 50-50. Well, if Pete is an affiliate only, he's going to pick up 1,000. I'm going to pick up 6. If Pete is a consultant and he brings that same deal, we're going to split it 50-50. So we each get 3,500. So when you start to talk to folks and they're thinking about building a business, the question is, do you want to make 1,000 on average, 500 to 1,000 on average for the deal, or do you want to make an average of 3,500 for bringing the same deal? If you're now building a team and you're building within Encore, so there's a lot to the consultant. It's a serious step up. There's a big money step up. All right, you can build your full nationwide solar business. You got your nationwide ADT that's right there. You got access to all the tech and training. And as you refer 4 people who are consultants or builders, you no longer pay the $49 monthly. So consultants, $149 one time, starting in month 2, $49. You refer 4, you pay no more on the monthly. There's one more step up, and that is the position of builder. Now, builder is a huge one here because it does everything that consultant does, but it adds now a few more things, and that's the Build Rewards membership, the Smart Money Club. But of course, as you refer 4 more builders, you pay no more on the monthly. Builder is a one-time $199, $99 on the monthly. All right, here's some of the things that you see on the Smart Money Club that comes with it. Your financial mastery, building a credit repair. So you get to build and repair your credit, tax planning, be your own bank, tax-free retirement. That is something that many people are very interested in. I will tell you right now, that is worth the 99 a month, just bar none, just the tax-free retirement. Business mastery, entity structuring, establishing corporate credit, access to capital, good respect credit. Now, whether it's for your build business, or let's say maybe you have a brick and mortar business and you need to establish better credit, or you need access to capital, all of this is available through these programs, which are included as the builder. There's also the BYLD Rewards membership. Now, the BYLD Rewards membership is something that, I mean, I've dealt with for a number of different years, a number of years now, probably going back, I'm going to say like 12 years. This company that is utilized, that BYLD utilizes and works with in a partnership here on this membership side has come so far. They have absolutely exploded over the last 12 years. They used to have about 50,000 places in total back 12 years ago. Now, if you look at it, I mean, these guys have over 1 million different places that you can save money, and it comes from all sorts of things, all sorts of stores, everywhere you want to travel, every aspect of life. All you have to do is jump on, utilize this savings, and something that you're going to do, whether it's for your car, your house, your boat, take your kids for early school shopping, going out to dinner, going out for drink, everything has savings in some areas. And I'll tell you what, it is absolutely phenomenal. If you utilize this, you will save far more than it will cost you on a monthly basis. Now, what does it also get you? Well, that dual team bonus. So being a builder also puts you into this dual team bonus. And what does that do? Well, it works on bringing you, if you look at the fourth column there, it says monthly residual. It's not a one-time bonus as you start to build. All right, as you continue building, this is a monthly residual. So as you end up, it's got two teams, team one, team two, as you build them, as you end up with 10 builders on one, 10 on another, it's $500 residual. You can see as those, that dual team grows, you see the residual grows on a monthly basis. Also, the matching bonus gets crazy, gets out of hand. It's something that is something that's significant that has been added into this program. So once again, my suggestion, no twisting arms here, but if you people who don't jump in as a builder, you're leaving money on the table. All right. My advice, talk it over with the person who's brought you here. Find out what they do, what they're looking to do, how they're going to work with you, and then make that plan going forward. Because as a builder, $199 one time, $99 a month, work on growing your team, get your 4, pay no more. That's what it's about, folks. And what I want to say is thank you very much for jumping on here tonight, giving us your time. We really appreciate it. And this is our job. This is what we do week in and week out, Tuesday and Thursday nights. Jump on here, bring people in. I call it putting butts in the seats. Bring them here. Let us do the work for you. Let us explain it, go through it, so they can see. See, if you explain it all to them, all right, they think they have to learn all of this to be able to explain to the next person. By you bringing them here, let us explain it. What they understand is, wow, this is truly a simple business. All I need to do is bring people here. Let these guys talk to them, let them explain it to them, and then we have a chat afterwards and get them signed up in the system, ready to go. With that, folks, have an amazing evening, and we will see you Tuesday night, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good night, folks.
All right, thank you, Pete. Thank you, Kevin.